Hey, this is Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com and welcome to the first lesson in your Facebook Ads Mastery course. So, thank you for investing in this course and I hope you will learn a lot from this course. One request is that please watch all the videos as soon as possible, as soon as it is released. And if you have any doubts, please post it in the forum or email me. And make sure that you become a Facebook ads expert not just by learning this video series but also by going ahead and implementing what you have learned, because without going ahead and implementing that you will not really gain mastery over Facebook ads. So let's get started with the lesson. So why Facebook ads? How Facebook ads are different from other platforms? So the Facebook ads are the best demand generation platform on the web. There is a small difference between demand fulfillment and demand generation, which we will look at in the next slide. But Facebook is obviously the best demand generation platform, and you will learn why when we look at the statistics. So Facebook has unmatched targeting options. Facebook is probably the only website that knows a lot about its users. Facebook is cheap, efficient, and there is no minimum to get started. You can get started as low as $1 per day and start advertising. So it is highly scalable. So Facebook has 1.79 billion monthly active users as of third quarter of 2016, and that is nearly 20 to 25% of the world's population. So if you want to scale your ads, it's very easy once you set it up, because almost the whole world of your customers is on Facebook. So that's why Facebook ads is something that cannot be ignored when it comes to digital marketing. So how will Facebook ads expertise benefit you? We are going to invest a lot of time and energy in learning Facebook ads, but it helps to have a look at how this is going to benefit you as well. So I will tell you how it has benefited me, right? So you can run campaigns for your employer or your client. You can get Blueprint certified and build a name for yourself as a Facebook ads expert. So that is something that I have done for myself. So I have a few clients who I help them with Facebook ads. I have worked in a lot of startup companies. I am still working in startup companies, and I help my employers run Facebook ads. So you can use the Facebook ads expertise to advertise your own products and services. If you are an entrepreneur or if you have a side business where you are selling something, you can use Facebook ads for that. You can use Facebook ads to build a personal brand online, which I have done. So a lot of traffic to my blog has been driven via Facebook. So these are all the benefits of becoming a Facebook ads expert, and I believe you would already be able to relate to it. That's why you invested in this course. So Google AdWords versus Facebook ads, how does it differ? So Google and Facebook are the two major players when it comes to online advertising, when it comes to advertising in the digital world. So Google AdWords is demand fulfillment. So if you go and search for something like, let's say, dual SIM Android phones on Google AdWords, that is something that there is a demand for, and Google search is fulfilling that demand. However, Facebook ads are demand generation. So to make you understand demand fulfillment and demand generation, let's look at a small example. Let's say there is a new invention, and this new invention is that you can run both Android OS and iOS in the same device. So here there will not be any demand for it, because nobody knows that there is a device which could run both the softwares, right? So what would happen is that nobody would go and search on Google because there is no demand. People don't know that such a product exists. So if you watch my videos on Google AdWords Mastery, you would understand this difference. So I gave an example of products that exist, people know that exist, and products that people don't know it exists, right? So Google is an evolved form of Yellow Pages, and people search for things that they already know it exists. So there is a demand for it. But Facebook, you can generate new demand. So even people who have not considered purchasing something, you could create interest in it and get people to get interested in that, and eventually create the demand where there was no demand before. So that is very important when it comes to Facebook and Google AdWords. You should understand the difference. Any client that you work for or any company that you work for, you should keep this in mind: demand fulfillment and demand generation, right? So demand generation is usually done by display ads and not search ads. And with display ads, you can actually generate interest in the target audience. Obviously, Facebook is not the only platform where you can run display ads. There are a lot of other ads platforms, other ad platforms where you could run display ads, like for example, the Google Display Network, and you have content recommendation engines like Taboola, Outbrain. But the common thread between all these display ad networks is that it's a demand generation platform and not a demand fulfillment platform. So the power of Facebook ads, right? So how does Facebook ads, being a display ads platform, differ from other platforms? So one of the most powerful features of Facebook is targeting features, because Facebook obviously knows about us a lot, and even when we sign up for Facebook and when we use Facebook, we give out a lot of information to Facebook by adding things in our profile such as date of birth, gender, interests, and things like that. So when it comes to search engine marketing, that is Google AdWords, the targeting is not done by who is searching for what, but the targeting is done with the keywords itself. So here the buyer intent is very clear. So if someone is searching for, let's say, dual SIM Android phones, it doesn't matter who this person is, because the buyer intent is very clear. He or she wants to buy a dual SIM Android phone, and it is made clear by the keywords that they use. So here, in demand fulfillment, you don't need to know the demographics and interest of the target people, because their intention is made very clear by the keywords that they use to search. However, when it comes to demand generation, you are actually showing your ad to people who might be interested in your product. And here, if you don't get the targeting right, then you would be wasting a lot of ad dollars, right? So, for example, consider something like TV ads, or consider something like newspaper ads. So, if I take Times of India and I see an ad for a jewelry shop in the homepage or in the first page, then that particular ad is not useful for me. It is not targeted towards me. And a lot of impressions go waste like that. It's probably targeted at females in the age group of maybe 20 to 40. And it's a small percentage. So let's say 10 to 15% of the target audience is in that age group. And the ad impression is wasted for the remaining 85% of the people. So that doesn't happen with Facebook ads, right? It's a display ads platform, demand generation platform, but here you can actually target the ad. Let's say a jeweler wants to run an ad. He can actually target females of 20 to 40 years of age, and it will be only shown to that demographic, and it will not be shown to others like me or someone who would not be interested in such an ad. Here the efficiency of the ad goes up, and since the efficiency of the ad goes up, your ROI is better than any other traditional mediums or any other display platform as well. So Facebook knows about you more than your spouse or your parents, or who knows, Facebook knows about you more than you know yourself. So that's how much data that Facebook has collected over time. Facebook even knows who are newly married couples, who are engaged, who are parents of kids who are in 2 to 3 years age group. So there are so many things that Facebook collects information about you, but so far nobody has really expressed concerns over this data collection, because it has not been used in a negative way, or there has not been any mishaps with all this data so far. So I think people are also comfortable giving out so much data to Facebook, and they would be comfortable as long as nothing negative happens with the data that have parted with. So we will look at targeting options later. We will look at interests, demographics, lookalike audiences, and more such topics in the later videos, which should be very interesting, I guarantee that. So let's look at the history of Facebook advertising. I'm not sure if you have watched the movie called The Social Network. And if you are interested in Facebook ads, obviously I would recommend that you watch this movie, and it gives you a glimpse of how Facebook started and how it went through the journey to reach where it is today. There's also a book called The Facebook Effect by David Kirkpatrick, which I recommend that you read. And when you look at the first type of Facebook ads which was launched, so you know that Facebook initially was launched only for colleges. And if you were studying in Harvard, let's say, then you would have an email ID such as your name at harvard.edu, and people would be able to sign up to particular groups only with that email ID. And it initially started as a social network for networking only within the campus or within the particular university. That's how it started. And initially, Facebook experimented with ads by placing something called flyers, which you can see here. And these flyers were about events or things happening within the colleges. So that's how Facebook advertising started, and then Facebook started slowly expanding to more and more audience, and their revenue started growing. By 2006 2007, there were so many companies who wanted to buy Facebook. So this is a picture from a HubSpot slide. So Viacom, Google, Microsoft, Friendster, Yahoo, all these companies tried to buy Facebook, but Facebook declined the purchase offer from every company. So this is how Facebook has grown from 2004 to 2013, and you can see that the advertising revenue, which is in the blue line, has consistently grown with the user base as well. So more user base, more advertising revenue, and Facebook has really built a good social platform to attract almost one fifth of the world population to its platform. So what are all the things that you can achieve with Facebook ads, right? Now that we are learning Facebook ads, so what can we achieve? So some of the major things are, you can build brand awareness for B2C companies. You can build a community on Facebook groups and use it for market research. Like, you know that I have built a group called Learn Digital Marketing on Facebook, and it has nearly 20,000 members as of now. And it helps me stay in touch with my audience, understand their requirements, what they need and who they are, and things like that. So you can use Facebook ads to build a community as well. You can get traffic directly to your website, you can build an email list, or you can generate sales. And you can obviously retarget people on Facebook. You can retarget people who have visited your website, and you can get sales out of it, or you can boost your content assets as well. So before we get into the different ad options that are available in Facebook, let's look at the marketing funnel. See, understanding the marketing funnel is very important for any digital marketer, and this also ties back into your Facebook advertising goals. So first stage of the marketing funnel is awareness. You can think about your own purchase decisions that you have made in your life, whether you have bought a laptop or a phone. You can imagine yourself in this funnel. So you would have gone through all the stages in this funnel before you became a customer of someone, right? So first, consumers become aware about a brand or a product, and then they get interested in it. So let's say the first time I heard about iPhone, it was a YouTube video where I saw the launch of the first iPhone, and that's when I became aware of it. And then I heard people that iPhone is a really good phone, it's premium phone, it has a lot of features, and then you get interested in it. And then the third stage is the consideration stage, where you consider buying it, and then consumers buy it. If they like the brand, they become a loyal customer and they keep buying more products from the same brand. It's like someone who has bought a iPhone, then buys an iPhone 3, then an iPhone 4, then an iPhone 5. So they become a loyal customer. And then they refer their friends to this brand. So that's becoming a brand advocate. So that's the advocacy stage. So I love iPhone, and if someone asks me what phone should I buy, obviously I would recommend iPhone to them. So that is the advocacy stage. So obviously, if you go deeper down the funnel, such as loyalty and advocacy and conversion, it has to be managed by yourself. But awareness and consideration is something that Facebook can help you with. So when you log in into Facebook Ads Manager and when you try to create a new campaign, so Facebook gives you this first page where it's a broad top of the level stage where you can decide what is the objective of your marketing campaign with Facebook. So Facebook has divided it into awareness, consideration, and conversion. So if you want to build brand awareness for your brand, so especially if you are a B2C brand and if you want to get people to know that you exist, then these are the things that you could do with the awareness stage. You could boost your post, you could promote your page, you can reach people near your business. Like if you're running a restaurant, then you can reach people near your business. You can increase brand awareness and you can increase your reach, overall reach as well. But for the first section, which is awareness, mostly people stay on FB, they don't leave FB. So if you want to get people to the consideration stage, you send people to a destination on or off Facebook. So consideration stage contains both stay on FB and outside FB. You could get installs for your app, you could raise attendance for your event, you could get video views, you could get people to watch your videos, you could collect leads for your business by doing lead ads. So there is a separate lesson on lead ads, and lead ads is very powerful for generating leads. And then there is conversion. So conversion mostly happens outside of FB. So if you want to increase conversion on your website, so conversion in the sense not essentially a sale that happens, but let's say here a conversion means someone who is subscribed to your blog. So you know that I run this free digital marketing course, and to drive more traffic to this course, I depend on Facebook. So I have put a conversion pixel, which is Facebook pixel. We will learn more about Facebook pixel in the future lessons. So I basically put this conversion pixel on my website, and whenever someone clicks an ad on Facebook, comes to my website, and the target goal is that they should convert. They should subscribe to my course, they should confirm my email ID, and they should eventually land on a thank you page on my blog. So here the goal of the ad would be increase conversion on your website, and here the conversion is defined as someone who has registered for my free digital marketing course, and that's my favorite part of Facebook. This conversion, increase conversions on your website, because Facebook's ad engine is so intelligent that if you run a conversion targeted campaign, what Facebook would do is that they would show the ad eventually only to the people who are likely to convert. They would look at the audience demographics and so much other information about the audience, and they would look at who is converting, and then they would show the ad who are likely to convert. So here the conversion optimization helps a lot in running a very efficient Facebook ad. So we will learn more about it in the future lessons. You can increase engagement on your app. So if you have an app already, you can increase engagement on your app. You can get people to use your app more and things like that. You can get people to claim your offer. So if you have an offer, you can promote your product catalog if you run an e-commerce store, and then you can get people to visit your offline stores as well. So this is a high level overview of all the things that you can do with Facebook, the different marketing objectives that you can achieve. So what not to do with Facebook and Facebook ads? So one thing I want all Facebook marketers to understand is that Facebook pages are not your web assets. So some people get too involved in getting more engagement for their Facebook pages, getting more likes. They try to think that their Facebook page is their asset, but be warned that Facebook page is not your asset, it's Facebook's asset. Yes, you have created something on the Facebook platform, but still there is a lot of risk associated to it because it's under Facebook's terms and conditions, and there is a lot of restrictions to it, right? So one of the restrictions that you would have seen is that if you have a lot of likes on Facebook and if you post something, the organic reach on Facebook is not as high as it used to be, right? So that's because it's Facebook's property, and Facebook has the right to restrict reach to the audience, because the audience is not basically your audience. The audience is Facebook's audience, except that they have liked your page. That doesn't mean they are your users, because they signed up on Facebook first. They have an account at Facebook. They have given their email ID to Facebook while signing up. So email should be your primary form of communication with your users, not Facebook. Facebook can help you build brand awareness and build your audience, but don't depend on Facebook to communicate to your audience. And do not use Facebook ads for getting more likes, right? Organic reach keeps going down. Earlier, 5 years back, if you posted something on your Facebook page, it probably reached a lot of people. but now it would hardly reach 10 to 20% of the audience, right? So don't do that, and try to use Facebook ads to get people off Facebook and register on your website and get their email ID. So if you have seen my Facebook ad and how I do it, I get people off from Facebook, get them to a landing page, and get them to register on the landing page. So as long as I have their email ID, I can reach them, and no one can restrict me emailing my own audience, right? So um, you can use Facebook Pixel to retarget your website visitors. It is more relevant, especially when you are boosting your post. So if you are boosting your post, if you are like publishing a new blog post, and if you are posting it on your Facebook page, what happens is that the organic reach is not much, and people end up boosting the post. But people end up boosting the post to the people who have liked their page, which is definitely not a good idea, because uh, many people who like the page may not be your relevant users, and sometimes there has been even cases where uh, if you advertise to get more likes, irrelevant people end up liking your page and they are not your customers at all. So that problem happens. So instead of using boost post to boost it to the people who have liked your page, use FB Pixel and retarget your website visitors. We will learn more about it in the future lessons, so that's more useful. And do not try to sell anything upfront. People are not in a mood to buy. So I have seen many advertisers who try to sell something directly on Facebook, and they end up saying that Facebook ads don't work and the conversion is very low and things like that. See, obviously, because when you're trying to sell something to people who are in a social mood, so they come to Facebook to check out updates from their friends and family, right? They are not really in a serious mood. They are not really in a stage where they are ready to buy. So here, if you try to sell something directly, like except for e-commerce where the purchase decisions are impulse, other than that, if you try to sell something directly, people are not going to be interested in it. They are not in a mode to buy. So instead, what you should do is that you should get interest of people by giving them something very interesting and an offer that they cannot refuse, and then slowly build a trust and relationship with them, and then sell something else. Like for example, you might have become my subscriber from Facebook ads. So if I had sold my Facebook ads mastery course on Facebook ads directly, and advertised to people directly about it, not many people would have been interested in it. Like even if you saw the ad for Facebook ads mastery course, you might not have purchased the course directly. But I advertise something which is free, which obviously gets interest of people. That is an offer that they cannot refuse because it's free. Free is the best selling thing in the world, and people look at my free digital marketing course ad, they sign up for my course, and then they engage with me. And then whenever you open the email, you are in a serious mode. And then after that, when I give an offer for a Facebook ads mastery course, then you are more likely to buy than if I had advertised on Facebook directly and you had a look at it directly, right? So Google AdWords, you can sell something directly because it's demand fulfillment and people are searching for solutions. They are in a mode to buy. But if you do not understand that people in Facebook are not in a mood to buy immediately, they are in a social mood, then you would get the maximum value out of Facebook ads. Don't try to sell something immediately, but get their interest with something that is free or something that is very interesting. Then build a relationship with them, make them your users, and then you can go ahead and sell something on a later stage to them. So let's also look at some of the Facebook advertising myths. So there are people who try Facebook ads without learning, without becoming a Facebook ads expert or without learning enough about it, and then it doesn't work, and then they start spreading some myths that Facebook doesn't work or Facebook cheats you or something like that. So what are the myths that Facebook ads have? So some people say that Facebook cheats people with fake metrics. So I don't think that Facebook, as a public company whose motive is to build trust and build more customers, would directly go ahead and cheat people with fake metrics. They are a publicly listed company. They have enough money. They don't need to really cheat people to get more money out of them. But I would agree that Facebook's ad algorithms are not 100% perfect. Sometimes the metrics are a little bit off. Sometimes you get likes from accounts which are not real accounts, and there are problems like that. But Facebook's intention is not to cheat people, and there are thousands and thousands of advertisers right now. I think there are around 3 to 4 million advertisers who advertise on Facebook, and wouldn't be, they wouldn't continue to advertise if Facebook ads didn't work for them. So that is a myth. I believe that Facebook is continuously working on making the metrics accurate. There is definitely some bot traffic and spam traffic which affects Facebook, but their intention is not to cheat people. So Facebook ads do not work, and that is something that people say. They just say blindly that okay, fine, Facebook ads I tried, it doesn't work anymore. But obviously, it doesn't work if you are trying to sell something directly, as we looked at it in the previous slide. Um, Facebook ads wouldn't work if you try to sell something directly, and if people are saying that Facebook ads will not work, then they are the people who tried selling something directly, and that's not always a good idea. So some people say that Facebook ads are not a good way to promote B2B products. That is not true. You can sell B2B products with Facebook as well. But as I said already, you cannot try to sell it directly, but try to use Facebook as a lead generation platform for generating B2B leads, and then take them down through your sales funnel using inside sales and using marketing automation, and then try to sell them something, right? So Facebook ads does work for B2B products. uh, some people say that Facebook is purposely reducing organic reach to force users to advertise. I don't agree with that, because over time, as a user, uh, Facebook users end up liking more and more Facebook pages, right? So as they end up liking more and more Facebook pages, what happens is that they get more updates from all these brands, right? So Facebook cannot show updates from all the pages that they have liked, because Facebook has something called edge algorithm, and Facebook tries to show only the most interesting and relevant updates when a user logs in into Facebook. So what happens is that over time, like 3 years back, an average person might have followed only 50 different brands or 50 different pages on Facebook. But now they are probably following 150 or 200 different brands on Facebook, because they have been using Facebook for a long time. But now they cannot see updates from all these brands, because if they keep checking updates, if it keeps appearing on their feed, then they will lose interest, right? So it's a organic problem. It's not Facebook is trying to reduce the organic reach. Organic reach has reduced, I agree, but it's not because Facebook is trying to force you to advertise. It's because the competition has increased, because more brands are there on Facebook, and that is the reason why the organic reach has reduced. And as an advertiser, you have an opportunity to reach more people if you are ready to pay for it, compared to brands which are not ready to pay to reach the same audience. So that's it. That's about Facebook advertising myths. So that's it for the introduction on Facebook. And as I told you already, you could go ahead and learn more about Facebook from the web. Look at the history of Facebook advertising. Look at how they have went ahead and uh, created different types of ads over time, for users to benefit, for advertisers to benefit. Definitely watch that movie called Social Network, and go ahead and read the book if you have time. So what are all the upcoming lessons that we will see in this course? So some of the major things that we will see are, we will take a tour of the Ads Manager and Power Editor. This would be especially useful if you have not got comfortable with the Facebook ads platform. So I will take you through a tour, and then you will get comfortable with it. Audience types and segmentations, we will learn about it. We will learn about Facebook Pixel, what is Facebook Pixel, why to use Facebook Pixel, how to use Facebook Pixel. We will learn about lead ads, click targeted campaigns. We will learn about landing pages. We will learn about conversion optimization and all those things. So thank you for watching the first lesson, and look forward to the next lessons. And having a Facebook ads account is very important if you want to learn Facebook ads. So Facebook ads account is usually connected to your Facebook personal account. So go ahead and create a Facebook ads account. I will also show you a video on how to create a brand new ads account. So that's it. And if you have any questions, feel free to mail me and feel free to post it on the forum as well. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.